4 persons die and several others displaced following opening of Bagri Dam in the northeast region.
Over 100 rabbit farmers in the Ashanti region lose their livelihood to the outbreak of rabbit viral hemorrhagic disease.
Stay focused and motivated. Activate your creativity. Challenge yourself and remember that humility is a virtue.
Group CEO of Media General Beatrice Ajman Abe charges youth to give off their utmost best irrespective of which environment they find themselves.
And on the international front, Niger's National Human Rights Commission accuses army of executing dozens of civilians during counterinsurgency operations. Well, the details of these and many more stories, including sports and entertainment, coming up over the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're also live on DSTV channel 279.
And beginning tonight, 4 persons have lost their lives, with several others displaced over torrential rains following the opening of the Bagri Dam in the northeast region. According to the Northeast Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Alhassan John Kweku, the deceased are from Bunkurugu, Limbinsi, and Janna. Now, according to them, Alhassan indicated several individuals have also been displaced. The incident started on 21st August, which led to the death of a 3-year-old girl at Bunkurugu. He added a 43-year-old from Patuan also died later, and just some few days ago, some other 2 people also died. Al-Hassan further revealed lots of farmlands have been submerged in the water. He explained NADMO has since assessed the situation and provided moral support to the people. Right, so joining us on phone tonight is Al-Hassan John Kweku, who will be speaking to us about this disaster that is happening in the northern part of the country. Al-Hassan, good evening, and thank you for agreeing to speak to us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me on your network.
Great. So could we have prevented the death of the 4 persons?
Hello? Can you come again?
Hello, Al-Hassan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking, this opening of Bagri Dam is a yearly affair. And there was some announcement prior to the opening of the dam. So could we have prevented the death of the 4 persons?
No, what has happened is not as a result of the Bagri Dam alone. It's about the torrential rains that we have been experiencing over the years. And this is not the first time. It has happened over the years. So for natural disasters, who are we to even prevent natural disasters?
Clearly, you've been working in the area. So, what measures could you have put in place to prevent this from happening?
Oh, like I indicated earlier, before the spillage, the Director General himself was in the 3 northern regions. He had stakeholder engagement with the chiefs, opinion leaders. So just to tell them that the water level at the Bagri Dam was rising, so the authorities in the Burkina Faso were trying to begin the spillage. So they advised that those who are living lowlands should move to higher lands, and it's an annual kind of thing. So his education has actually helped.
So, Alhassan, we are told you have been to the area to provide moral support. What kind of moral support have you provided for the people?
Oh, the moral support, the sensitization is one, because when he came and then had stakeholder engagement with our chiefs, the opinion leaders, those who are living lowland had actually moved to the higher land. So if they hadn't done that, it would have been very disastrous. But just that already they had farmed, so their farmlands have been submerged in the water and all of that.
Alhassan, finally, what is NADMO doing right now at the place?
As I speak to you, NADMO has organized some relief items for us to be given to the victims, those who have been affected. So I am just on my way to the region. I know government has a huge responsibility. That will not be enough for the people. So we are calling for other qualified partners. If they can come to the aid of the people, that will be fine.
All right, we are grateful for your time. Al-Hassan John Kweku is the Northeast Regional Director of NADMO.
Away from the Northeast region, the Group Chief Executive Officer of Media General, Beatrice Ajimanabe, has charged the youth to give off their utmost best, irrespective of which environment they find themselves. Addressing the 12th congregation of the University of Professional Studies, she posited those who allow mediocrity and expectations of society to define their perspectives are bound to fail.
Among the graduating students at the 12th congregation were the first batch of Master of Philosophy in Finance from the School of Graduate Studies, Master of Arts in Brands Communication Management, and Master of Arts in Peace, Security and Intelligence Management. Guest speaker and Group CEO of Media General, Beatrice Ajimanabe, tasked the graduates to see the competitive job market as a motivation that inspires her creativity.
The number of new graduates is rising daily, making the labor market very competitive. Huge numbers of applicants are chasing very limited job opportunities. I would urge you not to allow the mediocrity and expectations of society to define you and your perspectives. Discover your path as you work to perfect your craft and make your dreams come true. Stay focused and motivated. Activate your creativity. Challenge yourself and remember that humility is a virtue.
Beatrice Ajimanabe again spoke about self-development.
The skill set that workers need to develop in order to adapt to the changing times and new trends is constantly growing as automation is gradually set to replace human capital. Continuous self-development is crucial in managing this transition and in safeguarding intellectual resources. We need to develop relevant skills to keep abreast with the changing world in which we find ourselves.
The Vice-Chancellor of UPSA, Professor Abednego Fehi Oko Amate, said the university is among 13 public tertiary institutions to benefit from government's free Wi-Fi project.
ECD has already initiated a process of selecting a suitable contractor to execute the project. The free Wi-Fi project has indeed come at an opportune time when online teaching and learning has become the order of day in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. It will therefore go a long way to consolidate our efforts in that direction.
The over $514,000 project is expected to boost connectivity on the campuses. Professor Amate further announced that the UPSA has received accreditation for the implementation of the Master of Science in Insurance Risk Management program in the 2020 and 2021 academic year.
Right now, let's welcome you to the Election Command Center. And the flag bearer of the National Democratic Party, Nakunedu Ajiman Rawlings, has called on smaller political parties to join forces with the NDP to open up parliamentary representation in Ghana. At his third National Delegates Conference in Accra, she acknowledged not every view or vision is reflected by the NDC or the NPP.
The National Democratic Party was founded in October 2012 by former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman Rawlings. The wife of former President Rawlings was a high-ranking member of the National Democratic Congress NDC before breaking away. Nana Konadu Agyeman Rawlings, during her acclamation, called on the members of the NDP to spread the good policies of the party to attract more members to become a third force in the country.
We have a common goal to give real meaning to multi-party democracy in Ghana. We are determined to play our part to enrich the quality of conversation and ultimately the quality of delivery of Ghana's democracy. That is why today is a great occasion for the National Democratic Party.
She threw a challenge to some smaller parties to join forces to break the two-party monopoly in the country.
We need to strive to have more representatives in Parliament. That is how we can actually help to change our nation and our future. We should have more representatives. Then we will not have two major parliamentary whips. We are taking the bold step and inviting all the smaller parties to join us in this mission.
Secretary General of the party, Alhaji Mohamed Frimpong, said NDP is the party that can rescue Ghanaians from the deprivation they always find themselves in under the leadership of the NDC and the NPP.
All the desperation that you are seeing today, people thinking that they must radicalize the electorate or they must attack, let's say, the elections management institution like EC, is because long ago they have been disconnected. I mean, all the ills of monetization, state capture, and what have you, these are the fundamentals that blow up into serious corruption. And we have said, let's have the building blocks in the community. Let's have a focus of governance in the communities. And when we achieve that, you'll be surprised. We will not need anything because the watchman must also be watched.
The party also outdoored its national executives.
For all your credible election updates, stay tuned to your Election Command Center. Now, a mother, Jane Williams Thexton, lost her 7-year-old daughter to Wilms tumor, a type of childhood cancer. She has since resorted to creating awareness on the disease and garnering support to put up a pediatric oncology unit at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. Here's a report by Ajwa Adubia Osu.
When she was a baby, she was very noisy and not crying, but she could make her own noise and play and then do a lot of stuffs. So growing up, she became like the entertainer in our home. That day when I got to her school, she was just leaning by the wall. So I asked the brother, what's wrong with Vivat? And then he said that she was walking to her class and then a small boy crossed her and she fell. I was in the kitchen cooking when the brother ran to me that I should come and have a look. When I came to the bathhouse, Vivat had a swollen hip. It wasn't a hip bone, but the abdomen there was quite swollen at the right side. I had not seen something like that before. So I called a radiographer friend of mine that I wanted to have a scan done. And she did the first scan. She was like, "Are you aware your girl has a single kidney?" She said there is a mass growing in that single kidney. The next morning, we took her in for a second opinion from a different facility. And they also confirmed that it was Wilms tumor and then she has a single kidney from birth. So we went to Kolebu the next day. So we ran all those tests and then still it came out that she has a single kidney and there was a tumor in there. And the tumor had taken about 70% of her kidney. We were put on chemotherapy for about a month, yes, and then she had her first surgery. It was successful. Then I was called that because she has a single kidney, the best treatment for Wilms tumor is to actually take the whole kidney that has been affected away. But because she was born with a single kidney, they cannot take that kidney out. So they took some of the tumor and left some there. The following day, we started the treatment. By God's grace, we were able to finish our 12-day cycle. And the only effect she had was the vomiting. And that day when we were done, they started calling her Miracle. They started putting her on chemotherapy again. When we started, it was okay. But the second trip, when we came back, she was sleeping. When she woke up, I realized a part of her hair had gone off. In fact, I got so scared, I started screaming in my room. I took her to the bathhouse to bath her. When I poured water on her, the hair started coming off. I know that really my girl has cancer. But through it all, she would play with the brothers, go for swimming, and anytime she had issues, I had to carry her to Kolebu because Cape Coast Teaching Hospital didn't have a facility where they took the tumor off, and then they thought that the radiotherapy will just get rid of the excess. It didn't go. And that day I was so sad because I thought we were making headway. So I was told that they will have to do another surgery. She spent 5 hours, 49 minutes with the second surgery. And she came out not strong as the first one. She was very weak. They had tubes in her nose, picking some fluids from her belly, a whole lot of tubes with blood infusion on her. And when I saw her, my heart broke. Vivat, within 2-3 days, she was okay. The results came from the pathologist, and then they said what they took out was not cancerous. You can just imagine my joy. So then I thought we were done. After 3 weeks, we came back, took chemo. The following 3 weeks, I realized Vivat has started losing a lot of weight. So much weight I couldn't explain. Went to do MRI, and my fears were confirmed. The cancer had moved to her left and right lungs. I was numb, and they said she would need another radiation to the chest, or they will have to have an open chest surgery to take the tumor out. So she passed. She never wearied. She never pulled. When I got to the entrance of my hall, I realized she was changing. So I took her to her bed. Then all of a sudden I realized her body, that she was skinny. Now she was all full up. So I told my mama, it's like no one. And she took the second one. She was still looking at my face. Then she closed her eyes. So when she passed, I decided that no, I'll come out. Short-term goal for the foundation is to raise funds to take care of children battling cancer that we are handling here in Cape Coast.
Now let's move away from that story. And an orphaned, physically challenged female at Abasa in the Central Region has become a victim of sexual abuse due to her weakness and solidarity. Now some men in the town sneak into her secluded room at night, leaving her exposed to all forms of sexually transmitted diseases.
Abaya Forsen is a native of Enyana Basa. For 20 years, she has endured sexual harassment. Abba lost a mother and was left to her fate at a tender age, and has since lived on the benevolence of people in the community.
I live close, so when I'm passing by, I bring her food.
Anthony Ahin is a teacher at the Bethel Preparatory School where Abba Forsen was enrolled but dropped out.
Oh, she was responding in class. She was also responding, learning how to write and speak English. Right now, if you interact with her in English, she can respond in some areas, even though she has stayed home for a long time.
To fend for herself, she sat quietly in front of this chamber, hoping and waiting for passers-by to show their generosity. The support she receives from some philanthropists also ceased when there were border restrictions as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The young lady, who is also speech impaired, narrated the harrowing account of a sexual abuse from some young men in the community at night.
They opened the door and forced themselves on me.
The only thing that was helping her to survive was a wheelchair donated to her by some good Samaritans. But this has also broken down. Until she gets support, she's going to live in this empty room for the rest of her life.
Persons with disability continue to suffer exclusion and discrimination despite the legal and regulatory structures meant to support them. The cases for such persons with disabilities are usually not championed due to the low level of literacy and poverty levels. For Abba, any support that will enable her return to school and live a normal life will be a dream come true.
This is our story of Abba there. Now, 2 hearing impaired persons are striving to break the glass ceiling despite challenges. One of them might end up being the first deaf graduate from Adam Robe, a community populated with hearing impaired persons in the Eastern region. They believe with the relevant help, their dreams will become reality. They spoke through interpreters.
When I was 8 years, I started school. As I was schooling, my parents died, so I did not have money. So I stopped school. Later, a white person came to support me and took me back to school. I went to grade 6. I continued schooling to JHS 1. I went to the vocational school. I learned hair braiding. When I finished, I passed. So they supported me with dryer and rollers. I have them here. I don't use the dryer because I don't have electricity. So the dryer and the rollers, they are in the room. Right now, I work at the market. I make beads and chain. I use beads to make chain and I sell them at the market. But the business is going slowly. They are not buying the beads. Now I need someone to help me get a place to start my salon.
Enrolled in the school of demonstration school for the deaf Mampong. Then when I finished, I continued my education to the senior high school. Then now, I'm now in the technical university, Tekradi. People take my book to use for sign language, but the interpretation is bad. Due to the fact that I don't have people to communicate well, makes my improvement so slow. Graphic design with camera work in addition. So I'm improving that side too. If in future I become a successful photographer, I think I'll be the happiest person. I'll move about and do my work. Once I don't have a very good interpreter to help me, I think photography will be the best thing to help me. I want and I need photography training anywhere apart from this town, because over here we don't have one and I'm worried. Presently I will need laptop, camera, photocopier machine in order to have a shop on my own so that I can work and become an independent person.
If you are living here, where are you going to get the role models? Unless you step out So the wisdom of role model is not in their minds at all. It calls for collective effort to move towards a different direction. The assembly is doing something by paying their fees, and that alone I think is not enough, because some of the parents themselves depend upon the disability common fund of these children. So in our small way, for instance, in our school, the money is paid directly into the school. Then the assembly comes for their receipt, so that whatever the child needs to live comfortably in the school is provided.
In other news tonight, a 45-year-old mother of three, Sarah Ankra, is in dire need of financial aid to pay for a kidney transplant. Fortunately, Sarah has a donor, but she needs about $30,000 to manage her situation. Any financial support will be helpful.
Sarah Ankra is a mother of three who has a serious medical problem that started when she had her third child. She developed hypertension, which persisted after she delivered. This caused kidney failure and later a stroke. Through physiotherapy, she has regained some of her walking. She's still struggling with a kidney disease which requires dialysis twice a week. Sarah cannot also afford dialysis.
The doctor next day when they either dialysis and now they have a transplant. Then you and transplant to home. Until they discover offended dialysis no. They starting. No more problems, you're about the moon to me then.
The doctors told me I needed dialysis to survive. After some time, they told me I could no longer be on dialysis, but rather need a kidney transplant to survive.
20, because the way I can answer no, or recover no. It's not my own. To Mamma Sarah, son of Muslim. Muntum, you know, get zero. Nam the empire, one of us no. My doctor can order mission I made it.
The cure will require kidney transplant, which will cost $30,000.
A waffle, na dofu, na miss ready, one bomb. Nam to Munkonke, dam, transplant. Niscan, me, Yamazaka.
I'm appealing to individuals and benevolent organizations to please come to my aid so I can survive. I really need to undergo a kidney transplant. Fortunately, Sarah has a donor, but she needs the help of the general public and benevolent organizations to support with the medical expenses. Anyone who wants to support Sarah can donate to Sarah Ankra via Standard Chartered Bank, Takrady Branch, account number 0150528933. Donations could also be sent to the mobile money on the number 024-930-2603 or contact TV3 Network Limited. No amount is too small.
Definitely no amount is too small. If you're touched by Sarah Ankra's plight, you can also drop your donations here at TV3. This is a NEWS360 live on TV3, also live on DSTV channel 279. We're going for a break. We'll be back with more. Thanks for staying with us on NEWS360. It is now time for Mission. Remember, Mission is supported by Star Ghana Foundation with funding from Danida UK Aid and the EU. Now, fisher folks at Defo Bato and 4 other island communities in the Sene East district of the Bono East region are demanding more subsidies on fishing implement ahead of the December polls. The fisher folk say high costs of input is taking a toll on the survival of their work.
Therefore, Bato, Okbalama, Atigagoma, Ningo, and Daditoklo are some fishing communities inhabited by migrants from the North Tong and Ada districts. The availability of the Sini and Volta rivers have made fishing possible. In fact, fishing is what residents here depend on for their survival. The fisheries sector has directly provided employment for more than 2,000 people in the district. Traders from parts of the country also come to KJG on market days to buy stock for sale. But the fishermen claim the high cost of fishing gears is weighing down on their finances. They complained premixed fuel meant for their operations are being siphoned by the executives of the premixed fuel committee, denying others access. At KJG, premixed fuel are sold only on Thursdays, denying fisher folks an opportunity to fish all week. For those in the island communities, premixed fuel plays an integral part in their movement, but the fishermen claim lack of the commodity affects access to health care.
Premixed beba, and Thursdays are premixed.
When premixed fuel consignment arrives in the district, it is only sold on Thursdays. This makes it difficult for a patient to be transported to Ketikrachi for care. Many people have perished as a result.
Others corroborated the issue.
The executives of the premixed fuel committee have their share in the consignment, so they ensure that they satisfy themselves before selling the rest to us. Some fishermen end up not getting the commodity at all.
Assembly member for Day4 Bator accused the premixed committee members for excessively increasing the fuel.
We have learned that fuel prices have not been increased, but the executives here sell the fuel to us at increased rates. I reported the issue to the district chief executive, but he has not acted.
But the district chief executive, Benya Abraham, holds an opposing view.
In human nature or human society, whatever you do, there are a lot of people who appreciate you, and there are a lot who not appreciate. So whoever says premix is a challenge over here, it's ever true. Premix comes. For premix, every week, we normally have about 2-3 tanks. So when you go out over there to say it's being sold at the Polka line, look at the number of people within the district here. How will we be able to identify that this is Kwame, this is this, this is this?
The district has one station where all fishermen come to buy their premixed fuel. The fuel, upon arrival, is kept away from the purchasing public and released only on Thursdays. In spite of the shortfall affecting fisherfolk, residents are striving to develop their communities. At Daditoklo, fishermen use proceeds from their fishing business to construct a community-based health planning and services facility. Although not completed, they are hopeful of a better health care. Meanwhile, a school project by the assembly in the same community has been abandoned for 6 years. Samson Lawe is the constituency chair of the opposition National Democratic Congress.
Anytime we started the thing, then when a change of government comes, then the project stopped. Until NEC comes back to power before you see those projects going on again.
As the December election approaches, electorates of the Sini East District want political parties to consider implementing programs and projects to improve the fisheries sector, healthcare, and education.
And that's how we wrap up Mission this evening. Mission is supported by Star Ghana Foundation with funding from Danida UK Aid and the EU. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back. That's some more stories tonight on News 360. While the idea of witch camps is intended to protect persons tagged witches, the situation is changing. Women who are kept there still suffer stigma and poor living conditions, making it difficult to be reintegrated into society. As government moves to turn these camps into havens, Grace Hamwa Esari finds out what government should be looking at in making it safe.
A modern-day witch hunt is taking place in some parts of Ghana, where witch camps are still prevalent. Though both men and women are accused of witchcraft, the vast majority are women, especially the elderly. Data from Action Aid indicate as of 2018, up to 1,000 women lived in witch camps, which act as a place of refuge for these women. Children occasionally accompany women to the camps, and a child may go with the accused witch in order to protect them. As of April this year, one could count about 6 witch camps in Bongase, Gambaga, Nani, Patenga, Kukuo, and Nabuli. There have been many attempts by various governments to shut down the camps in an effort to stop the stigma. The recent happenings, which led to the death of 90-year-old Ekwiadente, has reignited calls for a solution, and the Ministry of Gender says these camps will be turned into havens.
If we are not able to reintegrate them, or they refuse to go, because some of them said they will not go, then how do we make the place a safe haven? Then the ministry will have to take over and renovate the place, make sure that it is wholly for our mothers.
But how different should these havens be from the already existing witch camps?
They should have better housing facilities. They should be given some allowance. I also believe that they also need psychological care because, the kind of allegations that they've been made to face, it's very important that they are provided with some psychological care. They need medical care as well. You know, it appears, if you look at the profile of many people who are alleged to be witches and saints there, they appear to be quite older people. Some of them may be having health problems.
Sociologist Dr. Rafia Kenten believes it is a sociological problem which should be tackled well.
The ministry, and for that matter, any institution that like to help must go through certain process. For instance, they need to understand that belief system, that tradition, that practice. Where has it evolved from? What purpose has it served? What is feeding into it? Is it religious? Is it economic? Is it social? When these are understood, then the remedial measures can be preferred.
Due to stigma and maltreatment, reintegrating these alleged witches back into society has become a challenge. Human rights advocate, lawyer Sheila Menkapremo, says this can only be resolved when the law starts biting.
It is very good to ensure that the law bites, the law is working. People are deterred from these allegations and harming people that are alleged to be witches. Until the law is working and is biting, and they know that if you try to do this, the law will deal with you, people will continue to be harmed.
Dr. Rafia Kenten asked that this needs concerted efforts to be nipped in the bud.
The most important thing is to engage the community, educate them, sensitize them, and whatever purpose that serves, there should be an alternative that is acceptable in the contemporary world.
It will be the start of a new life altogether for both the women and the children who live in these camps if government is able to rebrand these camps into proper place of solace.
Now, over 100 rabbit farmers in the Ashanti region have lost their livelihoods to the outbreak of rabbit viral hemorrhagic disease. The farmers have within a month lost over 10,000 rabbits to the virus. Ibrahim Abubakar has been examining the impact on the farms.
27-year-old Ebenezer Oteng Arthur has watched all his 480 rabbits die within a week. His 3-year investment amounting to 40,000 cedis has all been lost following the outbreak of rabbit hemorrhagic disease in Ghana. The young farmer is now switching to poultry business as he awaits vaccine for the virus to arrive in the country.
I've lost over 400 rabbits, and this happened within just a week. Because I invested a lot in it and I wanted to get some income out of it, there's no way I can get any source of income to then reinvest anything again. So we are just pleading on the behalf of the government.
Ebenezer is among over 100 farmers in the Ashanti region who have watched their rabbits die from this deadly virus. The rabbit hemorrhagic disease, also known as viral hemorrhagic disease, is a highly infectious and lethal form of viral hepatitis that affects rabbits. Mortality rates, according to the veterinary service, generally range from 50 to 100%. Until recently, the only strain of the virus present in Ghana was RHD1. However, a new and potentially more dangerous form of the disease called RHD2 has emerged with almost 100% mortality rate. The virus, which started spreading in March this year, has killed about 10,000 rabbits in the Ashanti region alone. Ebenezer Oteng Arthur is worried farmers cannot afford the cost of the vaccine as they've all lost their investment.
The problem here is that the importer is a private man and he is demanding half amount of the money before they import the vaccines here. And we the farmers do not have such money because per rabbit, you are going to buy a vaccine of 9 cedis. So depending on the total number of rabbits you have in your farm, that you are going to pay for the vaccine. They
are, however, eager to return to their rabbit business due to its profitability.
It's a fast-moving business. Within the period between April and now, at least, with just three of them, now I'm having about 30. So all things being equal, I think it will be okay.
Investigative officer at the Ashanti Regional Veterinary Laboratory, Dr. Patrick Amponsa, says the new stream of virus has about 100% mortality rate. He advised farmers not to restock until the vaccine arrives in the country.
Some of them have gone ahead of us and then restocked their farm. The vaccine is not in. You have restocked it. We don't know whether you have done proper disinfection. So you can still have so they should wait for us, and then we will probably get them sentinel animals, and then we are sure that okay, the disease is now not in your farming.
Despite its fatality, veterinary officials say the rabbit hemorrhagic disease is not zoonotic as it cannot be transferred to humans. But until the vaccine arrives in the country, rabbit farmers will continue to bear the brunt of the virus.
Hope they find the vaccine to cure them so we can have more rabbit shows. I remember those days when they used to organize rabbit shows and we used to go and taste and eat rabbit meat. And after weeks of spectacular dance competition, Fafa emerged ultimate winner of the maiden edition of the 3FM Dance Challenge. The competition, which unearths up-and-coming dancers, came to a close Friday after a keen contest. Naftali Ban has more.
Powered by your urban lifestyle radio station 3FM 92.7, the competition sought to discover the finest unsigned dance in the capital. The final battle for supremacy saw 5 fired-up showing their mastery on the dance floor. Aside exciting Ghanaians, the 3FM Dance Challenge also afforded some members from the various departments of Media Gen the opportunity to dance their hearts out to win prizes. After 3 rounds of spectacular dance competition, Fafa from the University of Ghana emerged winner. According to judges, Fafa's impressive dance moves and body language within the final stage of the show gave her an upper hand over others. She was presented with 32-inch flat-screen TV, among other amazing prizes.
Wow, congratulations to you. Congrats to you, Fafa. Wow, it's spotted.
I'm very happy to win the 3FM Dance Challenge. The challenge wasn't that easy. It was quite difficult because I had a lot of challenges. But I would like to thank my family and friends for helping me out And I just want to thank every single person who supported me.
Takoradi Bay's group Eugene and Shadrach also came second, with Inshira Clifford placing third. All finalists received packages from sponsors. Silky voice singer and Let Me Know composer Mr. Drew, who was a guest judge, believe organizing such events will boost the arts industry.
I feel like this is a really great initiative. It would help the youth a lot, especially those who know how to dance.